Hi, I'm Mike Saltzman, Co-Founder and COO here at EvolutionIQ. I'm joined today by our Head of Data Science, Karan Opal, to talk about unstructured data, how we use it, and why it might prove to be so valuable for AI based on insurance claims. How's it going, Karan?
Hey, Mike, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So I thought we could start with a pretty open-ended question. What makes claims data different than other types of data that you've used in your past as an AI engineer elsewhere?
So I think the interesting thing about claims data and also what makes it unique is that unlike most other data sets that have an event that happens over a short period of time, like ads or a news story or a trade maybe that span no more than a matter of a few seconds or minutes, a claim's life cycle spans over a few months and even a few years, depending on what type of claims we're talking about, which means it's important to not only understand what information came in with the claim, but how that information evolved over time. That's what makes it both unique and challenging, as well as very interesting to work with.
When we think about a claim in terms of structured and unstructured data, what are the relative merits of each, and why are both potentially critical for a comprehensive solution?
What we have learned by interacting with insurance carriers and our clients is that they have found it historically much easier to maintain information about a claim in an unstructured format. And it's easy to imagine why. It's much easier to just type out a note than go into different fields and update 60 different fields that change every time, which has led to the fact that historically, if you look at 10 years of data for any insurance carrier, the maintenance of information in notes is much more natural and is always more accurate than in structured data. That's what makes the use of unstructured data a lot more important and more reliable. So oftentimes we find that the diagnoses, for example, of improved disability for someone has not been updated in 5 years, but really when you read the notes, all the information is right there up to yesterday. So having the more recent information to understand how a claim evolves is why it's important to look at unstructured data.
What is it about unstructured data that seems to give everyone so much trouble?
So unstructured data that as we are talking about here is specifically natural language and how claim notes are written. Language is hard. Even when you're talking to another human being, sometimes you have to ask them twice to understand what they're saying because context matters, how the phrase is done matters, and everyone has a different way of expressing themselves. So two examiners or two doctors across different carriers or even within the same carrier might not explain or say the same thing in the same way. So because language is complex and context matters, that's why unstructured data is such a hard problem to solve.
What are some of the use cases of unstructured data as it relates to figuring out the future of a claim?
Some examples off the top of my head where we have leveraged unstructured data heavily is to understand a person's disability profile better from a health perspective as well as from a job perspective. So from a health perspective, first of all, it's important to not only just know what diagnoses they might have, but what symptoms they might have. Are they going in for some specific kind of surgery that they might have had? Are there comorbidities that are listed? Is their blood pressure, their BMI? All of those things are more free-form mentioned in unstructured data. We have also looked at unstructured data to understand not only what job or occupation they have, but what skills they have. What are their transferable set of skills? If they're learning new pieces of information while they're on disability, that can be used to find them other jobs. From a general liability standpoint, we can learn things about negotiations and settlements that are being offered, as well as attorney involvement that are commonly not present in structured data.
As head of data science here at EvolutionIQ, tell us about one interesting piece of the research and development arm that you're overseeing right now.
So one interesting piece of work that we are doing right now is around trajectory analysis. And for trajectory analysis, what we try to do is understand from unstructured data how a person's health is changing over time, because unstructured data has rich information about evolution of a person's health that structured data normally does not capture. And this allows us to make better predictions, more granular predictions about the severity of a claim or the duration of a claim over a period of time.
Well, Karan, thanks for speaking with us today. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Mike.